particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. If something differently would be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. Many people that attend the church here can tell you.
Service in Holy Rosa is in Guinea.
We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Getso. The northern end of Jigawa State is a world of fantasy. It is a surreal environment that resonates with life and with the beauty. The life that daily unfolds in this environment is highly organized. It is ceaseless and strident, and it holds great promise of sustained livelihood for the people. Jigawa as a term is a land expression. It is a reference to a soil type that is sandy, a tribute to an extensive area of the state covering over 13 local government areas rich in that soil type. The story of Jigawa State is actually tied to its soils, in a broader sense to its ecosystems. All the beauty and the fantasy that are alluded to here are a product of the life that evolves within given ecosystems. Well, when you talk of environment, Jigawa State presents 3 different kinds of ecosystems. Perhaps one of few states in the country that present 3 different ecosystems. In the southernmost part of it, you find the Sudan Savannah. When you are coming down around Hadeja area, around Gumel area, you are confronted with the Sahelian Savannah. And then, with the border, going closer to the borders with Niger, you find the desert. There are unique phenomena that are unfolding in the state with regards to its ecosystems. A Gom Arabic farmer in the northern fringes of the state, Rabi Usabo, believes all the ecosystems in the state are fused into one, and one finds features of all the different systems in all areas of the state. He fingered climate change as a major factor on this development.
This is an arid, almost semi-arid or Sahel, whatever you call it. Because even now the time is confused. There is confusion because of the climate change. The forest is getting to be Sahel, Sahelian region. Sahel is getting to be desert because of the climate, because now desert is encroaching.
Time of the year determine the nature of human activities that prevail in northern Jigawa. Make no mistake about it though, the area is cinematic all year round, and with every passing day, there is a unique story to be told. My recent visit is the onset of rainy season, and this period is phenomenal for its tireless motion. Across all sections of Jigawa State, you encounter herdsmen migrating north from their sojourn down south to graze their livestock. The incipience of rains around Jigawa stimulate the herdsmen to return and pitch tents around grazing areas that are fertile and safe. This is a particularly large group captured around Hansu, a mega local government area, in their return journey. This kind of movement around this time of the year is relentless in Jigawa. You can capture more than 40 returning groups in one day. When they move with all their worldly possessions of livestock and personal effects, including items of wear, tools for setting up tents and cooking utensils. There is another dimension of this migration. While the Fulani herdsmen return north from the south, camel herdsmen arrive northern fringes of Jigawa in this time of the year from places as far as Libya, Algeria, and Niger Republic. There is something amazing with this seasonal movement. It is not like the herdsmen have a definite area of settlement. They are guided by their experiences in most cases. They avoid places with a history of farmer-herdsman conflict. They avoid areas where climate change, flood, or desert erode the grass and water provision. That apart, they often tend to return to the same place time and again, insofar as it is safe to do so. The Sahelian ecosystem of Jigawa State influences vibrant transhumans. Actually, Jigawa State is one vast grazing reserve. A Sahelian component creates acres of virgin lands where livestock like camel forage on the predominantly acacia tree that dominate the ecosystem. Jigawa is never short of river systems and small lakes with water that never dries all year round. It is an alluring engagement for the grazers. The land of Jigawa has over time developed all the necessary characteristics for the growth of livestock. I do not have statistics, but the state is one rich breeding ground for livestock. Small ruminants and large livestock like cows and camel, donkeys and mules. The seasonal migration welcomes in nomadic herdsmen, but there is as well vast population of residence herdsmen who of course never move and find all they need for their livestock in their immediate environment. They are a dominating feature of the landscape in Jigawa too. It happens, however, climate change is creating more grazing platform in Jigawa than is deliberately planned. That is the case of Hans Uriba. Hans Uriba, a mega local government area of Jigawa State today, is looking quite very sober. Well, maybe because rainy season is not yet advanced in this part of the country. But when the rainy season is advanced, the river can go into convulsions. And when it does, over 100 square kilometers of it will be flooded. And when that happens, there will be no agriculture. Hundreds of farming families will have to leave the area they are living in. And of course, that means absence of livelihood. But on the other side, on the flip side, you will find that the flooded areas allow for mass grazing for livestock. And Hansu is a place for livestock. Activities of climate change through floods made many parts of Jigawa that hitherto were fertile agricultural lands into wastelands. Not precisely wastelands actually, because grass grew to a vast foraging quantity. It is a case with the areas around Hans River. The flooding waters from this river wash away the farmland. The story is, if at least crop cannot grow in the farmlands, livestock can grow there. Every day, hundreds of livestock cluster to forage. The river itself and the pools it engenders ensure that the livestock are never short of water. Around Hadeja area, the Hadeja Unguru wetland is yet another example of northern Jigawa cinematography. This wetland creates livelihood and beauty. Wetlands the world over are peculiar water systems that support life on a large scale. The Hadeja Unguru wetland has in fact a global ranking. It is Ramsar Site #1 in Nigeria. It is named Marma Channel. The ranking follows a criteria. Hadeja Unguru is a wetland of international importance because of different species of plants, fishes, and other aquatic life that are found there. It is also a land where farming, grazing, fishing and wild resource collection are carried out in a large scale. This place does not only support the livelihood of the local people, but also people from around Nigeria and beyond do come to survive on the resources of the area. This informs the Ramsar ranking. We have actually done a report on this water system before, where we look at some of its potentials and the human activities that daily occur here. For long, the wetland has been at the crossroads. A new story is emerging there now. An interesting life is unfolding among the communities in the Abuja Unguru wetland. Hundreds of thousands of them. Beautiful. Every day, people find livelihood here. And not ordinary livelihood. Livelihood in a big way.
Prior to 1974 drought, this area was a very vast, fertile, and very beneficial to the communities around. All these occupations I was talking about were fully engaged by the communities living around these areas. But presently, the story is a bit different. With the coming of the weeds of taifa grass and what we call ergai, the story is different. The channels are blocked. Farmlands have been overtaken by this taifa grass. The grazing areas are overtaken by the taifa grass. The fishery resources are affected by it. In fact, formerly the fishery resources, the inland generation from this area within the Nigerian nation is 6%. Now it's less than 0.6%.
There are cheering developments taking place around Abuja Unguru wetland now, and the good old days may be here again. We took canoe ride along the major channels of the wetland, where the story is pleasing to hear.
The Yobe state government and the Jigawa state made some efforts in trying to open up the channels so that the water can flow downstream. The same communities around were mobilized to be taking actions. The surrounding communities form an organization called the Wetland Development Initiative, whereby they come together right from Gashua to this area. They come to open up the channels so that water can flow downstream. When water goes down the stream, those having excess water will have a reduction. Those having scarce water will not have water. You see, the equation will be balanced.
The critical issue with the wetland is with the blockade created by taifa grass, and how for over 40 years this blockade along the Burungana channel stops large-scale fishing and crop cultivation. Tefida is on the front line of activities to see the wetland lives to its promise. Alaji Tefida, I'm interested in this place. Beautiful, like it.
Very beautiful. And in fact, this channel is very important, especially to the communities living around.
Okay.
It supplies water for farming, grazing, fishing, and what have you.
Obviously.
Yes.
And how extensive it is? We have been moving for the past 40 minutes.
Very extensive. Right from where we are, we can reach out to Tarabu axis.
And that's how many kilometers?
From here, it may take up to the Tarabu axis, maybe about 40 kilometers within the water system.
We are using a canoe. You can see we are being paddled. And movement is very difficult, obviously. The channels are very deep. And any silly mistake, you can end up over 20 feet underwater. And honestly, I don't know how to swim. So don't mind how we do the interview, but the intelligence is more important. So you can see it all along all the channels.
Formerly, previously, around 1970s, these weeds were not around, even though they are indigenous. What I mean by being indigenous, even the taifa grass we have been talking about has been in this place for years. Yeah. But due to the seasonality of the river system, as of then, it comes on and off. What I mean on and off is during the wet season, you see it growing. During the dry season, when the water withdraws back to the channels, it dries up till next year. But with the development of the upstream dams, the water becomes permanent. Due to that, the reproductive system of this species being two phases, by seed and rooting system, it reproduces very fast. And whenever there is water presence, the seed lands, then it develops.
So dam systems actually affected the...
Yeah, it is part of what contributes to this menace.
Okay. We saw signs of real effort to degrade the taipa grass along this channel by community efforts. This is the main channel of the Hadeja River as it links with the two channels of Burangana and Likori. Ideally, the water flow is supposed to be 75% across Burangana channel, which flows and empties at Lake Chad, and which allows extensive fishing, grazing, and palm walks across its over 800-kilometer journey, and then 25% across Likori channel, which empties in Unguru, some 30 kilometers away. It has been the reverse all along, but the dredging now is opening the Burangana channel, and water and large-scale agriculture are flowing along the channel. Yes, one of the most exciting features of Hadeja Unguru wetland is, of course, its tourism potentials. Now, look at our trajectory, our movement along the Likori channel, downstream of Burangana. Beautiful and exciting as it is. But then obviously, apart from the beauty of the area, you can look at both sides of the channel. At both sides of the channel, it is overtaken by weeds, invasive weeds, that's not allowing the farmers to either fish or to move freely in the water. In fact, along most of these channels, there are blockades, and the blockades are creating unnecessary impediments to the farmers and to the water system itself. I am being indulgent in this water. It is interesting to travel in it, but I won't link up with the fishermen who may be fishing along this area. Although it is afternoon, and fishing in the afternoon is not too lucrative around this area, that's what the local communities say. But then, of course, let us see whether we can get some fishermen on the act or in the business of fishing. We actually ran into a group of fishermen foiling their nets and making a show of their catch. Life is strong and beautiful here, but the time of our trip of the area does not agree with the timing for active fishing. There are people who are opening the debate on how to make Hadeja Unguru wetland come back to its glorious days. Their simple solution is that international fisheries and water laws must be complied with in this area. The water laws in particular specify that artificial water channels should not be created here, and poison should not be used within the water system, and the water system should not be tampered with. The issue is that many farmers around the area believe that the canalization of Hadeja River along Auyu brought about the invasive taipa grass and stops agriculture short around the wetland. In reality, the wetland continues to support life, even with the multiple challenges that often weigh it down. We visit a community in the territory of the wetland whose life depends 100% on what the environment has to offer. They are the Matachu community, who are in direct neighborhood with the active channels of the wetland. These people are into all year round agriculture. In fact, they are through the irrigation farming for the year now when we came visiting, and are making preparations for the rain-fed agriculture. Agriculture in this place requires no fertilizer. The soil produced with the integrity too. Malam Abdullahi Mekano has been doing this agriculture here for over 20 years.
This is our livelihood, actually. It is where we believe we survive and do everything here. We don't have any farm rather than this place now. So we farm sorghum, maize, and the rice. The floodplain from here to Tarabu area, from here up to Guli. So it is more than 50 kilometers lying down here. And it is a very nice wetland, actually. See, if you see how people are farming everywhere in this place. So there are plenty of farms, and the problem is that we have a hard mess.
Malam Abdullahi says herdsmen and flood are the only problem to their agriculture. So how is the water situation around this? Because it seems like there is a dry here because the water is not
No,
much.
it is because of the dry season. If it is a wetland, a wet side, or wet time now, it is all this place is flooded. The place is whole flooded here. You can't see even 2 meters soil here. I'm telling you, all these places, even up to this, village level. It is up to there. So I just manage like that.
Okay.
If it is during the rainy season, you can see more than 100 or 200.
I would like you to look at the camera. I would like you to look at the
Canoes here now. So all people are going through, when they went there now, they have to go through the canoes.
Through the canoe.
You have to go through canoes. You can't go to the farm without canoe. It is necessary.
So it's everybody here, it's like a canoe man.
Yeah, it's a canoe man. You must have a canoe. Because if you don't have a canoe, you can't go here. You can't go to the farm. And all this land, if you pass this place now, if you go down that trees, it is where we have the uplands areas.
You have an upland area, you have another.
We have upland areas down there, down that trees, where you see that trees now.
Okay.
It's an upland area.
So you are planning to do in agriculture here. Okay, so and it's profitable, it's nice.
It's profitable, it's very nice. So all the problems we have here is the hardness. We are facing them serious. We are facing problems of hardness. When we plant trees, plants, when they arrive, then the people will come and start destroying them. That is the major problem in this place. We try all our possible best for the authority to come and calm the situation. It's not possible.
It is rather curious that the community in Madachi want government to canalize and dam the wetlands to allow them a more organized farming. Definitely, they are not privy to effects of the dam system in Auyo, the flow of water along Burangana and Lokori channels. But surely, the people of Madachi are in direct relationship with the herdsmen. They are never far away from one another. The landscape is a picture of the agricultural flatlands that are always waiting to be cultivated, and the ominous pictures of herdsmen pitching tents across the stretch of the land. We do not live at Madachi, however, without an episode.
That is an event.
Baturia is internationally known and recognized because as a tourism center, it harbors both indigenous and migratory birds. And more than that, it has plant species that are of various kinds and that are still subject of study among many scholars, especially botanists. Baturia Bird Sanctuary is a rare ecology within Hadeja Ungur wetland. It covers 320 square kilometers, including the buffer zones. It cuts across 3 local government areas of Jigawa, Auyo, of birds, migratory and indigenous species. It has different varieties of plant lives too, of which acacia is the most dominant. The acacia trees, which are invasive and with a domineering presence, are the main sanctuary of the birds. We actually come here to have a noble picture of rare birds. We target evening when the birds will be returning home to roost. It so happened, however, that we saw very few birds. Our guides told us that November, December, and January are the peak periods for bird sighting, when most migratory birds arrive to escape winter in Europe, or they have come to lay eggs and hatch them. It so happened that every community within the reservation area has a water point. In actual fact, there used to be over 100 functional water points here. Only 15 functional ones remain now. The forest is rich too in wildlife, especially warthogs, duikers, jackals, monkeys, and monitor lizards. We have not seen any, but the forest guards say they are a common sight. Baturia is a forest concentrate, and the people say deforestation, encroachment by pastoralists and poachers are driving the birds away and eroding its value and beauty. We are in fact witness to a case of bird poaching, which nearly translates into real-life standoff between a forest guard and a poacher. As we go through the routine of our work, we had a gunshot which echoes heavily across the bush. A forest guard ran after the gunshot and in no time returns with a hunter's gun and a hapless white-faced whistling dog, dead. It was killed by a poacher who dropped his gun and prize and took to the bush on seeing the guard. Well, in Baturia Game Reserve, there are some challenges, especially with the encroachment and especially with the poaching. This bird has been shot. And as we were taking pictures, we had the gunshots. So the reserve guards here rushed and they found these people who were doing it. They shot this bird, and this is their tool by which they shot it. Now, continually, the people at the reserve are complaining about poaching. What do they do about it? Because people from all over the world come here for these birds. Now, if they are made to go away or to extinct, what happened to them? I think that is their challenge. But we are talking about poaching.
Yeah.
You can see this bird and the guns. What are you doing in different
Actually, it's a great problem. One of the issue we have is lack of staffing. Our work is supposed to be 24 hours round table. Unfortunately, due to lack of staffing, we do it half day activity.
Okay.
And these people that come to shoot these birds normally watch us when we move out. Then they come to the place and start their activities. Fortunately, now we have come with you as visitors. That is why we are able, God is so kind, we are able to catch them red-handed. And now we are taking them to the court for them to be penalized.
The poachers were later apprehended and they will be prosecuted. In fact, a neighboring community identified them as regular poachers who always park their black vehicle by a bridge and poach wildlife. A third dimension to the story is that their leader is a senior special assistant to a prominent politician in the state. Events like this, although tragic, will never extinguish the glory, the livelihood, and the drama that daily unfolds in the northern fringes of Jigawa.